Hello, everyone. Hi, how are you doing? So I'm going to talk about the 10 killer plugins for Confluence. Confluence is not only a wiki, it's so much more thanks to our developer community who keeps innovating on top of the Confluence platform for years now. And thanks to the plugin exchange and the macro browser in Confluence, we hope that plugins are even easier to install, maintain, and use in Confluence in the future. So I'm going to talk about 10 Confluence plugins that you should know about. 5 of them ship with Confluence in 2.10, and of course 3.0 as well. And 5 of the plugins are presented by the developer community, by other developers. So let's start with the Widget Connector. Maybe some of you guys were at my talk this morning, where half the time the projector didn't work. But for the other half, that worked quite well. The Widget Connector allows you to display other content from the web, for example, YouTube videos or photos from Flickr in Confluence by simply copying and pasting the URL in the Confluence Widget Connector macro. Currently, we support 30 services and more than 100,000 widgets via Widgetbox. Widgetbox is one of the biggest widget providers on the web, and they partnered with us to integrate Confluence more tightly with them and provide a little pop-up that gives you the URL for every widget on their site, and you can configure it on that site. The second plugin I want to talk about is the Office Connector. Many of you might use Word, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to convince people to move from Word to like a wiki or some other web technology. So what the Office Connector allows you to do is attach an Office document to Confluence and display it inline in the page. You can display a presentation, you can display an Excel spreadsheet, and the presentations even run in full screen, so you can give presentations right from Confluence, which I don't do in this case, but you can. You can also edit pages in Word. So if you have a Confluence page, you can click Edit in Word. There's a little button there. That doesn't turn out so well. Oh well. You can edit this little button there, and the Confluence page will actually come up in Word, and you can edit the content, save it there, and it will be saved back into Confluence, and you will preserve the history, and everything else that comes with the wiki. The third feature you get with the Office Connector is import Office documents. So if you want to migrate your offline documents into the wiki so everybody can access them, you can simply import Word documents, and the structure and the formatting will be the same in the wiki as well. The next plugin I want to talk about is the Juror Issues plugin. If you use Juror as well, then this is probably one of the plugins you use the most. It allows you to display issues for a project, any kind of issues, right in Confluence. So for managers who need a dashboard with the current status of a project, it's just perfect. You can choose which fields should be displayed, and even custom fields can be displayed. You can drag around the columns, and you can reorder the columns, and you get a nice dashboard of what is happening in your company. The chart macro probably adds towards that. Like as a manager, we have a lot of reports, it's sales reports, statistics about support. Those are all displayed via the Jira Issues macro and the chart macro. So the chart macro allows you to display pie charts, bar charts, and any kind of charts, either with static data in a Confluence page, or even connected to a database. So you can get the dynamic data from a database and render it as a chart in Confluence. So you always have the latest updates on what's happening. For example, for our Sprout project, we could see like every single time a new sales happened, the chart went up, and it was really exciting for everyone. So this is a great way to visualize data in Confluence. The last plugin I want to talk about is the task list. If the tasks you have are not quite important enough to make it into Jira, you might want to consider using the task list. For example, for planning my holiday, I can simply add a planning a holiday task into Confluence, and then just add the tasks dynamically. I don't even have to edit the page. It all happens in the view mode. So you can decide to book tickets and check the passport, since checking the passport is pretty important, otherwise they don't let me into the country. I want to give it a higher priority, which I can do. And then you see a little arrow on the right-hand side that will indicate that the task is of higher priority. And then you can go and reorder the task and check them off here. And while you do that, all the history of the task will also be preserved in the document history. So if you want to go back and say, oh, I deleted this task accidentally, I need that back, and I can't remember what it was, you can always look that up in the history. That's for the Confluence plugins, and I would like to hand over to Chris and Mini Confluence now.
Thanks, Jens. Can you hear me okay?
this.
I feel like I'm driving a car backwards here. There we go.
Down at the bottom.
Is a keynote for a second. Isn't,
I might be able to just hit play.
there we go.
You've got it. Yes.
I hate this MacBook Air.
I take it.
Let's try it again. Well,
Need to.
anybody an expert here? All right.
Oh, fail. How do you switch the?
Some preferences.
For the Mac, right? Somebody do something else? Where'd it go? That's right.
Are you using your displays?
Whoa. Yeah. Where'd it go?
I think it's the problem with not using Windows software on Mac.
That way we only have one. Whatever you do, that's it.
We're building the anticipation here.
All right.
Okay.
Excellent. Hello, everyone. Thanks for sticking around this afternoon. My name is Chris D'Agostino. I'm the CEO of Near Infinity Corporation, and we've got a product subsidiary called Nick Labs. Here today to talk to you about Mini Confluence. Mini Confluence is an application for the iPhone. It's a remote client for Confluence. And if your organization is anything like ours, you depend on Confluence to get your job done. And I'm constantly being asked by employees to provide feedback on content that they've posted. And oftentimes it comes at really inconvenient times during the workday, like if I'm here at a conference or I'm taking a wine tour or something like that. And so I'm sort of anticipating tonight at the Atlassian party, trying to enjoy myself, but can kind of predict that I'll have someone ping me. So here's typically what happens on a day. So what Jason doesn't know is I've got Mini Confluence on my iPhone now, so it's great because I can respond to his requests and have a few drinks at the same time. So it allows me to do my job and still enjoy myself. If you were at the keynote this morning, you heard Mike mention the application. We've worked closely with Atlassian in building out version 1 of the app. We are really excited about its launch. I'll tell you more about the product features as we go through the presentation. So the first time you launch Mini Confluence, it'll prompt you with a login screen, and it's going to ask you for your username, your password, and the URL to your Confluence instance. We store those credentials so you don't have to re-enter them again when you launch the app the next time. And once you've logged in, you'll be brought to the dashboard. In the dashboard, we've got a setting that will allow you to either view all the recent content that's been posted to Confluence, or if you've got a large site or you're really interested in your favorites, you can select the setting so that it'll only display the items associated with your favorite spaces. A couple things about the dashboard. It is real time, so if someone posts new content and you hit the refresh button, which is the little refresh button in the upper right-hand corner, it'll show that information in real time. It also honors all the security privileges of the Confluence instance. So users on the iPhone, they won't see any additional information more than what they would see if they were going in through the web browser. Whenever you're viewing a page, you'll notice a visual indicator in the upper right-hand corner of that page, which will show the number of comments for that page. If you tap that indicator, you'll go and you'll get a visual listing of all the comments, and from within a comment, you can navigate back to the parent page. But at any time, you can actually post a new comment. And we support all the wiki markup syntax, and so as you're authoring, if you dare to put in a ton of the wiki markup, we offer you a preview mode where you can hit it and see what it's going to render like on the website or on the Confluence instance before you post it. So we think that that's a fun and cool feature. Another exciting thing we've added is the people directory. In our organization, we've got our developers are spread out over a lot of different locations with clients that we have. And so we've come up with what we think is a creative way of displaying users in Confluence. It'll grab your profile picture that you've created for yourself, and we will generate a Polaroid of it and pin you to a corkboard. So you can search for users within Confluence based on first name, last name, and once you tap someone's Polaroid, you'll go to their profile page. And so what we do within our company is we have our contact information in that profile page, and the app recognizes phone numbers, so if you tap someone's phone number, the phone will dial that number. Spent a lot of time working to support attachments and internal and external links. Let me tell you a little bit about how that works. For attachments, those of you with iPhones know that the iPhones will display Microsoft Office documents, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. We also will display PDF documents, images, and things like that. For internal links, for those of you that post pages in Confluence and you have references to other pages within Confluence, we'll honor those links and we'll follow, and you can sort of just tap through and navigate around your instance of Confluence. One of the things that we wanted to provide you, since a lot of people post documents inside of Confluence with external links, if you're familiar with the iPhone, a lot of times you jump out and it launches Safari, it'll launch Safari. We built a mini browser inside mini Confluence so that you can view those external links, whether they're a Yahoo article or anything else, inside of mini Confluence without leaving the application. We offer you a real convenient way of jumping out and launching Safari if you wanted to continue on and navigate around quite a bit in the web, but provide you a real convenient way of looking at both internal and external links. Full text searching. We will allow you to search through the search tab down in the right-hand corner. You can search all the content within your Confluence instance. That not only includes pages, blog posts, comments, those types of things, but the full index of all the attachments. So if you've got the word Java that shows up in a single Word document, for example, somewhere, you search, you'll get that one hit, you tap on that, and it'll render the Word document right there within the application. You also are able to browse spaces through the Spaces tab, and you can navigate into any of the spaces, and you can see a listing of all the pages and all the news items that fall within that space. A word of caution, we ran into a gentleman from Cisco here, and they have 70,000 registered users for their instance, and they have several thousand, I think he said 4,000 spaces in their instance. We're working with Atlassian to tighten up the remote API for Confluence, but if you're on a really large site, the Spaces tab is going to give you some performance issues. The other tabs, and I'll talk about the preferences settings in a bit, the other tabs help you throttle the number of items that get returned to the phone, so the performance will work well over the 3G network or Wi-Fi, certainly. It's available today in the App Store. It actually showed up yesterday. We were sort of freaking out a little bit because we had submitted it to Apple in plenty of time. What we had in our past iPhone development experience felt was plenty of time, and it didn't seem to get there. And then yesterday we got here, arrived in San Francisco and from the East Coast, and lo and behold, it was there. So we're real happy about that. We're offering it at an introductory price. It's at $4.99 now, so we'd love for you to buy it, download it today, and give it a spin and let us know what you think. It's not a plugin, ironically, so 10 killer plugins. This is the killer plugin because it's not one. You do need to enable the remote API in your Confluence instance. And if I have a minute here or so, I'll show you what we've done with miniconfluence.com to help you test your Confluence instance to make sure that remote API is turned on. But it's a one-step configuration setting in the Confluence configuration. Thanks. So come by our booth, talk with us. Jeff Kunkel and Jason Harwig are both here. They're two of the lead developers on the product. Caroline Wiseman is our marketing person who's done all the marketing material for the work that we've done, and she'd be happy to talk to you about the features that you'd like to see in future releases. We've had plenty of requests already about whether or not there's an enterprise edition for the app for large organizations, so they could leverage and roll it out to their entire employee base. And there have been plenty of people asking about a BlackBerry version. So we'd love to hear your feedback and your requests, and we'll take that into consideration as we plan out the product roadmap. So Near Infinity is a services company, and we've got Nick Labs as a product development arm of that company. We do mainly custom software development, and we've got 50 employees. We're located out on the East Coast, outside of Washington, D.C. And we, as Mike said in the keynote, we've been a partner with Atlassian for a long time, so we're thrilled that they're doing so well. And if you go to miniconfluence.com, you can test your configuration. It'll just type in the URL to your Confluence instance, and we'll test it for you and tell you if the remote API is turned on. So that's it.
Thanks a lot, Chris.
Great.
One question, does that work on an iPod Touch also?
It does, yes.
Okay. Figured.
You can have this one.
Can we do full screen? Oh. Well, not exactly full screen, but all right. My name's Chris Colhart. I am CEO and co-founder of Gliffy, and we make a drawing and diagramming tool for Confluence and Jira, plugins for Confluence and Jira, and you can make diagrams, flowcharts, UML diagrams, and all sorts of cool drawings within Confluence. I'm going to jump into demo real quick. Let's see. Can you all see that? Let me make sure. We're working ultra low resolution today. Okay, so I'm just going to show the Confluence plugin today. Right here we have an example Confluence wiki page. We all know what that looks like. And I set up a little scenario here where I'm developing some software, a web app, and I need to, I'm doing a use case here describing a login process. I did it all in text, and that's primarily what people typically use Confluence for, is a lot of text documents. And that's great, but sometimes things are better expressed using images. And that's where Gliffy comes in. We can create a drawing. And so it's really easy to do with Gliffy. We just go to the add diagram link here. I'm going to type login flow. And this is going to launch us into the Gliffy diagram editor. And I apologize, the internet connection's a little bit slow, so it's going to take a little while. It's important to note, this is all running inside a web browser here. So you don't have to your users don't have to install any extra stuff at all. It's because it's all deployed through the Confluence plugin manager. All right, it came up. It's pulling up a few more resources. Usually it wouldn't take this long, but the internet connection's a bit slow. So we have a bunch of different symbol libraries on the left here. I'm going to start off with the Flowchart symbol library, and it's really tiny because the resolution here is not good. But notice that we can do drag and drop, just like you would expect in any other sort of desktop application. And since we were describing a login flow, I'm going to start off here real quickly and show the user visits the home page, and then user enters their username and password. And then, just like you would expect from a desktop application, we can connect these elements with our line tool. So you can see, you can just start to mock up a flowchart sort of thing. And I'm going to show you another, because everything's slow, I'm going to fast forward to our network symbols. Oh man, you can't even see them. Thanks, that's a good idea. Try and make this a little bit more conducive to our, let's see, this one? That'll help us out. Okay, so it's hard to see, but we've got a bunch of network symbols here. And so we just released a new version of our application. We're on 2.0 release, and we included, we made a big revision to our network symbols to make them a lot better looking. So I just wanted to show those off a little bit. So we have these sorts of things. So you can also create network diagrams as well. So you can make, if you needed to describe, your server infrastructure, for example. And when you're all done, you hit the Back to Confluence button. And this is going to drop us back into our wiki page. I'm definitely regretting doing this a live demo now. But you can see now that this diagram is rendering right inside the Confluence wiki page. And it was pretty straightforward, except for the resolution issues. So I want to show you a few more examples I have over here. So I loaded some other examples in that we had done before. Well, you know what? This is going to take forever. Okay, so here is a floor plan that we built out. Here's an org chart. Here's a technical diagram. You might have saw this in the keynote this morning. And this is a big one. This is I think this is the golf course that my business partner made because he loves golf, and he drew that using Gliffy. There you go. And this is a UI mockup, wireframe. And the last one is a class diagram. So you can see you can make a lot of different types of drawings using Gliffy. And I'm going to switch back to our slides. So just to kind of recap here. So the main reasons why you might want to use Gliffy is because people tend to grasp visual representations of data a lot more quickly than just plain text. And so by adding Gliffy into your Confluence or Juror installation, you can really help enhance the usability of your information and your documentation. And we've been working with Atlassian and deploying, we started selling this plugin about 2.5 years ago with Confluence. And we've got over 700 different organizations using Gliffy right now. So there's definitely a lot of people using it. And we hope that some of you will want to use it too. And to wrap up, we have a contest going on right now where if you install the 45-day free trial of our plugin, then in either Juror or Confluence, and you find the golden Gliffy, which is hidden in the symbol libraries, and you actually might have seen it during my demo. But if you find it and you drag it onto the stage, there'll be a little code there that you can send to us, and you'll enter you into a contest to win a $500 gift certificate to Amazon.com. So go install, enter the contest. And that's it. Thanks.
One question on that. Does it, what happens when I edit my diagram? Does that create versions in Confluence?
Yeah, it creates versions just like Confluence pages. So you have a revision history, a full revision history that you can go back and see all the old versions and refer to them just like a Confluence page.
Awesome. Thanks. Next up, we have Roberto from Comalatech, and he's going to talk about, or Comala Technologies is the full name.
Comalatech is Kashi name. Okay. Oh boy. This is like a VGA. No, actually, do you remember we created that one? No, the directory. We created the directory. Okay. Okay, let me just take my notes. Okay, I'm Roberto from Comalatech. I came up with the Approvals Workflow plugin. I'm going to demonstrate how it can be used for managing approvals and workflows. But first of all, I want to just take a minute to explain the motivation, why this plugin happened to be. Oops. Oh, that was back. There we go. As we all know, the wikis have been already adopted as the mechanism for groups to share, to collaborate, to create content, and to agree on content. However, wikis lack of controls and require and visibility to maintain the integrity of processes. What happens now is that wikis are not adopted. Confluence is not adopted because as soon as there's some controls that is required, sorry, you cannot go there. Or in some cases, you have to go through another application to deal with that control. So what we're getting is you got the content providers, the people that are actually doing the work, and they're really happy, right? Because it's a very nice collaboration tool. However, and whenever they have to do workflow system, they don't like it, right? On the other hand, we have the regulators, right? It could be external or internal, that really dislike the wikis, and they're really pushing and dictating the use of workflow systems, right? So that is a challenge, right? So how can we come up with a solution, introduce some type of process without getting on the way, without compromising the open philosophy of a wiki? So that's what the plugin is going to try to do. So I'm going to go through a couple of examples. This is going to be very simple. It's about managing the project management policies, right? It requires 3 approvals for 3 different departments: engineering, compliance, PMO. And they will have to provide credentials for digital signatures. For digital signature will be handled as user ID and password. So let me start. How's that looking? Okay, so we have a screen flow doing the magic, I hope. Okay, here we go. It started. So that's how it works. We have already a policy there. It has to be approved. You see on the top, it's a draft. We have to give the engineering approval. Again, we're bypassing all the user group constraints, but you can define, what only engineering can give this approval, only compliance can give this approval. When we hover on each of the approvals, we see who approved it and when. Then we will go, the people from the compliance department will have to come and give their approval. The idea is to do this in a very simple way without getting on the way, right? To keep it simple. We have to be very settled when we introduce this type of workflow. Again, it's very simple. We defined those 2 approvals. The PMO approval became available because the other 2 departments gave their approval. So here we go. We're going providing the final approval. And you see, we're still looking at a draft. You see in the top right corner. Now, once it receives the approval, it's considered as published. So people will see that this document is published. Now, what's going to happen after, right? What happens when the document gets updated, right? Because it's not only getting it right once, right? So we're going to modify, create a link to this policy, a reference to this policy. And we're going to see what happens, right? Here we go. So now, if you see on top, we can see there is a draft. And there is a link to the published version. It means that people know visually that they have they were on the draft version. Now they're back to the published version. Read-only users will have access only to the published version. So here we go again. Because it was outdated, it had to go through the approvals again. So we can, again, people from engineering, people from compliance, and people from the project management office having to go to get the approval. So this is also what we have. All those approvals are recorded, right? So at any time you can go and see where things were, what version was approved, and by who, and what comment they provided. Okay, so this is the simple scenario. I'm going to start with another example, which is a little bit more complex, right? This is about technical documentation. We have an author who has to have his approval. A reviewer, the author has to select who is going to be the peer reviewer, who is the manager in charge of that area. And we have different states. You can see the workflow there. Basically, we have a draft. It goes to further review state. Then to review it, it can be rejected. If it's rejected, it can be reopened. And at the end, you can get published. OK? Here we go. OK, so this is, again, starting with a document already has been created. As part of the plugin, we have the ability of creating forms. In this case, this is a form for selecting who the reviewer is, who the manager is, and a due date for sending notification later if the approval has not been given. So and now we have, the author is ready. It's going to give his approval. And it changed, right? This is a stage-based workflow. So we can see the transition from draft to full review. We know what time happened. And we know that now it's expecting the peer reviewer approval. Now, using ScreenFlow magic, we're going to switch to the other user. So now we are the peer reviewer. And now he comes. The approval is available to this person and gives his approval. And we all set, right? So he comes. OK, I like it. And we can see at any time, we can see real time, where things are in the workflow. Now we need the manager. It's not available this because this is reviewer. Again, we're doing the ScreenFlow magic. And now we're managers, right? The manager can come and give their approval, and we're all set, right? Manager says, I'm happy. Again, the status, the state is on the top right corner. It's defined as reviewed. They're all set. I like it. It's published. And we get all the way to the published state. We have different views. You can see the different states. Again, this is on a state-based workflow. We can see the entire workflow, including the rejected states. And same thing. We can create a workflow and say, you know what? If it's updated after it's modified, change the state to a different version. Right now, we're going to correct the typo. Now it goes to the full review state. It requires, again, we can see the transition. You see the transition now to full review state. It requires the peer reviewer, approval. Also came out with another option. What if you need an extra approval, right? All this was built on the workflow. Says, you know what? If it has the engineering label, then the document has to have an extra approval. So now it has to go, then again, more magic. We get to the other guys. This happened to be part of engineering, so he gives 2 approvals on behalf of the 2 roles. And we're all set. So workflows are defined using markup, using Confluence markup macros. So you define macros, you define your states, you define your transition, triggers, actions. Once you define your workflow, then you're all set, right? All the pages on the given space are subject to the workflow, or pages with a given label are subject to the workflow. There are more features. I just had 8 minutes to go through it, so I just illustrated. I'll give you some ideas. I'm here. I'm on booth 13, the lucky one. And so that's why. Yeah, I'm there. I mean, feel free to stop by, ask any question, run a scenario. You want to play, you can download the plugin. You have 30 days. You need more than 30 days. Just let me know. Take your time. Play with it. That's it. Thank you very much. Thanks. OK, thanks. Oops.
What versions of Confluence do you support right now?
2.6 to 2.10, because somebody broke integration testing.
Thank you. Next, we have Peldi from Balsamiq. Here's a microphone. Looks like you're set to go.
I sound a little like a demon, but really a nice guy. Hi, my name is Peldi, and don't know what to do with this. I am CEO and founder of Balsamiq Studios. We believe that life is too short for bad software, and that's why we like to use Atlassian products. And also, that's why we built Balsamiq Mockups, which is a wireframing tool that will hopefully help you and your teams build the best software you can. So through the ScreenFlow magic that I borrowed from Roberto, we're going to see a little demo. You get a bunch of pre-made components, 75 components that you just drag and drop and then use to create your mockups. It works for any web app, websites, application, all sorts of applications, and even iPhone applications now. So in this demo, I'm creating a wiki page, and there you go. You go add UI mockup. The editor launches in the browser, but it also comes with a desktop version so that you can work while you're offline, and it supports more keyboard shortcuts. It's a little faster too. Anyway, so this is a search portal that I was tasked to come up with, and I made this very fancy one. I need to add a paragraph, some lorem ipsum. Oops, did you see that? Just type lorem. Magic. It's ScreenFlow magic. No, this is actually product magic. But anyways, so then once you're ready, all you have to do to bring it into the wiki, you export it, and then you go back to the browser and import it. And it's all XML, so it's, you could read it if you wanted to. Anyway, so this is just as I wanted it, so I can go to save and close, give it a name. I forget what I called it, portal, home, and it goes into the wiki. So now if anybody is watching the page, they will get a notification that a mockup was added. So now let's do some more magic and pretend that I am a UI designer and I see this and I am horrified. And so I can go in and start to clean it up just a tiny bit. Just a little bit. Let's remove some stuff. Nobody cares about any of that stuff, so let's just make it smaller. And then remove the scroll bar, which is just a click. So basically, it's a drawing program, but it's so focused that I can make it really fast because I know where you're trying to draw. A scroll bar is one click, for instance. So this new feature I came up with is called I'm Feeling Great. I don't know what it does, but I'm just a designer, so that's an implementation detail. So let's make it a little smaller. And then this part is a little slow. Group it. Can group them and then align them. Yada, yada, yada. If it looks familiar, it's purely an accident. This was really my idea. So there you go, and then you go save, and you can add a comment that becomes a comment to the edit in Confluence. And there you go, so there's the new version. And now you can see the history, for instance. Go version 1, didn't have any mockup on it. Version 2 has the really awesome one. And version 3 is the minimalist one. And then mockups are saved as attachments to the page, both as XML for the data and as images. And I think that's about it for the demo. And then let's talk a little bit about the company. That's it. There's 4 of us now, which is, you can't believe how excited I am to be able to say that, because for many months it was just me. So that's me up there. I do half support, half coding. It's more like 90-10 really these days. But second one is my wife. She's in charge of giving away licenses. We give away about 67 licenses every day to nonprofits, open source contributors, do-gooders of any sort. They just tell us why they're good people, and we'll give them a license. The third one is Marco. He's a programmer. And then the newest addition is Valerie, who is based in the Bay Area. So we're based in Italy. The first 3 are in Bologna, Italy. And so with Valerie now, we're able to answer your questions faster, even while I'm sleeping, which is very exciting. So we have about this graph is not updated, but we have about 150 customers. The red line is the Confluence customers, and the other one is the Juror customers. And we also sell a desktop version, and we have about 5,000 customers for that one. But who cares about that one? And well, I guess what I'm trying to say is that plug-in customers get precedence over desktop customers, but don't tell them. And then there's some nice things that people said about the product. Somebody wants to marry it, and somebody loves it. So, anyways. And then if you want to find out more about the product, there's a demo, 30-day trial, etc. on balsamiq.com. And announced yesterday, we are lowering our lowest Confluence level from 25 to 10. And for $400, you get 10 editors. Everybody else can see the mockups, but only 10 people can create them. And the way you manage those 10 people is you create a user group in Confluence, and then you put people in as you want. Mockups for Jira is $7.99. And then if you want to just try with the desktop version, it's $79. But if you buy a plugin version, you get the desktop version for free as well. I think that's all. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. One thing that just saved me recently was the ability to export your mockup and import it into a new page. I thought I was going to have to recreate the entire mockup, but that saved me a couple hours. So last but not least, we have Guy Fraser from Adaptavist, and he's going to talk about how many plugins. You guys make many plugins, but I think you're going to talk about Theme Builder right now.
Sliding away there. All right. Yay. Right, hello, I'm Guy Fraser, CEO of Adaptavist, one of the co-founders. And I thought just to end with some eye candy, essentially going to show you how some of our customers, if it changes to the next screen, have essentially pimped their wiki. As you know, there's the number of themes that come with Confluence. There's the default theme that's shown there, and there's a left navigation theme and so on. However, you can actually turn the wiki to different uses just by changing the way it looks a little bit more. So I'm going to show some of the sites that our customers have done themselves. So these are two documentation portals where they've added sidebars and other navigation, logo banners across the top and so on. So fairly simple customizations, but as you can see, it's already much more in tune with what they want to present and how their users want to access the information. They then got things like developer portals. So now we're getting a little bit more complex, adding things like tabs and more complex navigation down the side. And again, this is all derived based on the actual end user audience, how they're going to interact with the wiki, how they want to get hold of information, and being able to highlight information like featured author and things like that makes it a lot quicker and easier for people to get to it. We've then got things like conferences and blogs. On the left there, there's one of the big Java conferences in Belgium, and they've gone for a crazy theme that's got a black background. We don't generally recommend doing that because it's one of the most difficult things to implement, because most images and most macros and just about everything assumes it's going to be on a white background. So if you want to use a black background like this, you're going to have a few late nights working with CSS to change lots of things. And over on the right there is our own website. And you'll notice this is actually the blog view inside of Confluence, but we've changed the left sidebar the right sidebar to put the author at the top and also show some archives down the side. So it just makes it a bit easier to get to the older news items. Then there's community sites, and some of these are cool. There's the collaboration project, which is probably one of my favorites, where they've just got huge amounts of content on there, but they have a cycling panel on the homepage that flips through various case studies to sort of highlight and showcase things. And there's a talk project over on the right, where they've been building up a community for the healthcare service in the UK. And they've got things like Twitter feeds and Google Maps mashups and all kinds of things in there. And again, they've used customization just to make it their own and make it easier for their end users to use. And last but not least, some corporate websites. I'm sure you've seen some of these in some of the Atlassian presentations. These give you an idea that, you know, if you're willing to spend the time and you know a good designer, you can really turn Confluence into something that really does not look like a wiki at all. It's quite time-consuming to do this level of customization for every page. So what you normally end up with is a sidebar on the header or navigation is constant throughout the site, and then a lot of work goes into the home page to just lift it that extra level. But if you try and do that on all of your content pages, it's going to be quite time-consuming. So, in case you didn't see the announcement earlier, the plugin is now free for everyone, forever. So there's nothing stopping you downloading it. And like I say, all of these examples were done by our customers, not us. They just went in and made these things themselves. And if you'd like to know any more, we're at booth number 6, so come and have a chat. That's it. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Guy. And I'm really impressed with all the speakers that we actually managed to do this in 55 minutes. So thanks for just being so efficient. This is the last session for today. And next we have a bash here, Atlassian Bash at our headquarters, our San Francisco headquarters. The bash starts at 6:45, and we have buses that will take you to the event and back, starting at 6:15 and running through 6:45. And the details in your packet here. I don't know exactly where we queue up, but I think as long as you follow the crowd, you'll be safe. And I'll just say also along the line of all these plugins, thanks everyone. Most folks here, most of the plugin vendors have booths down in the partner pavilion, so go see a more in-depth demo if you want. And most people have a free 30-day trial, so check it out, except for Theme Builder, which is free, and Mini Confluence, which is $4.99, so almost free. Thanks, everyone.